just about to go down. He's on his way. Patiently they stood. They sang, who's afraid of the big bad wolf? It's the same old song. When he's gone, they're bulletproof in a house of straw with an old tin roof. And again next week, he gonna blow their house down, just a merry-go-round on the devil's playground. They'll huff and puff and shoot it up, never can get quite enough, hoping every high gonna last a little bit longer. There ain't no such thing as coming down, too numb to see. They're sorrow bound, always on the prowl for something a little bit stronger. They wouldn't put it down, Lord, if they could. Stand around and sing, who's afraid of the big bad wolf? 3 young men, this time minus one, hanging round again. This time with a gun. He's on his way. Patiently they both stood, oh, singing, who's afraid of the big bad wolf? They didn't get no fix. Found out they ain't bulletproof in a house of sticks with an old tin roof. He didn't have to wait. Lord, he blew their house down. What a price to pay to play in the devil's playground. Oh, they'd huff and puff and shoot it up, never could get high enough, hoping every high gonna last a little bit longer.
My name's Johnny Ashley. We are in Jenkin Jones, West Virginia, and we are in the hood in the woods. Jenkin Jones was born in Glenneath, Wales in 1839. He grew up in a poor family and was forced to mine coal at an early age. In 1863, at the age of 24, he immigrated to America and was working in coal mines in Pennsylvania. In 1863, at the age of 24, he immigrated to America and began working in coal mines in Pennsylvania. He moved to West Virginia and formed his own mining company. Soon he had formed multiple partnerships that would result in the formation of the Pocahontas Fuel Company. The town of Jenkin Jones was formed in 1912. In 1917, the first coal mine opened. In all, it was the 6th coal mine that the Pocahontas Fuel Company had opened, and was producing some of the highest grade coal in the world. So we are now inside the company offices for the Pocahontas Fuel Company in Jenkin Jones, West Virginia. The Norfolk and Western Railroad was more than happy to provide lines to move the coal. As it was the post-Civil War, lots of blacks flocked from the more southern states to the coal fields of West Virginia for better economic opportunities, and to this day McDowell County, which is where Jenkin Jones is, has the highest population of blacks in West Virginia. As the 1800s turned into the 1900s and the Industrial Revolution was going on in the Northeast, coal from West Virginia was vital in the process of refining steel. Coal from the Jenkin Jones mine was preferred by the U.S. Navy because of its high quality. So here's going to be the company offices. So let's just check this out real fast. You can see the old places where they would have had their announcements and signs posted. And unfortunately, like a lot of McDowell is right now, this building is just in complete ruins. But I mean, you can see how nice it used to be. Look at that, we came out in a stairwell. So, looks like that's our chance of getting to the second floor. So not much left of this now, just ruins and but even coming out through here, I mean, you can just get the feel for how elaborate and nice it used to be. And we got, like right here, you can see where they used to have the plaster and painting, but it's all come down with time now. I got cold. Had to put my coat on. The Pocahontas Mining Company didn't pay their workers in U.S. currency. They paid them in company script. That script was redeemable by paying rent, paying for the fuel that the coal company gave you to heat your home, and then you could spend it at places like here, the company store. Starting in the 1880s, mine companies began paying their workers in company script. As the coal mines often owned large swaths of land, they owned all the property on the land. They would rent the houses on the land to the coal miners, to which the coal miners would pay their rent back with company script, which the company paid them. They would have to pay for the heat and fuel that was provided to them by the coal company with this company script. And then the rest of it they would have to spend here at the company store. They could only purchase stuff that was here at the company store. It was non-transferable. Outside of this particular company, the currency, the script would have no monetary value. So you couldn't work all year, save up your money, and then go to Disneyland unless Disneyland accepted the Pocahontas Coal Company script. Mine companies would often charge more for food and rent than what their workers made, therefore forcing their workers into debt. The mine companies would then be able to keep their workers almost hostage until that debt was paid. But while they worked to pay off that debt, they would accrue more debt of more housing and more food, kind of getting the miners stuck in a never-ending system. Mine companies would often hire private police departments, like the Pinkerton detectives, to keep an eye on their workers, to keep workers that were in debt from leaving the coal camp, as well as to stop unions and strikes from happening. As mine workers began to strike and form unions, mine companies did everything they could do to bust them up. There was a case in Kentucky where coal miners went on strike, demanding higher wages. Where the coal company finally caved in and gave them higher wages, the coal company just turned around and doubled their rent. So at the end of the day, the miners were making less than they had before. As miners began to strike, demanding higher wages and a safer work environment, private detectives began to specialize in breaking up unions. These private detectives committed multiple massacres against miners and their families. Another very common and simple technique that coal companies would use to break up unions would be just to fire any miner who joined a union, evict them from their homes, and then blacklist them so other mine companies around the area would not hire them. In the poor mining country of the Appalachians, the mine companies were the law, and they held all the local politicians in their pockets. A mine company's lawyer, S.D. Avers, said in a court hearing, It is like having a servant that lives in your house. If that servant leaves your employment, if you discharge him, you ask him to get out of the servant's quarters. It is a question of servant and master. Mine companies would fire any miner that dared to join a union, and sometimes mine companies fired their entire workforce and had to truck in a new workforce. In the 1920s, the United Mine Workers Union came to southern West Virginia and southwest Virginia. Even though coal mines were notorious for their bad working conditions and low wages, mines treated their employees differently, and some coal mine companies treated their employees better than what the union was asking for of other companies, so they resisted joining the union. It's almost a privilege to me to be able to do this, but I'm standing here on the front porch of the company store for the Pocahontas Fuel Company in Jenkin Jones, and then behind me is the company offices for the Pocahontas Fuel Company. If I had said 100 years ago what I have been saying today about companies, unions, and wages, I would have been beaten to the inch of my life right here in front of all you good people, so you would know not to be talking about stuff like this. But I want to sit here and I want to tell you the story of Sid Hatfield. In 1919, Cabell Testerman made Sid Hatfield the police chief of Matewan, West Virginia. Matewan was a coal camp that had been set up a few years before by the Stone Mountain Mining Company. They expected their town officials to go along with what was best for the company, but they had picked an enemy in Testerman, and he had appointed a bigger enemy for him in Hatfield. Although it was before his time, Hatfield was a descendant of the famous Hatfield and McCoy feud. Both Testerman and Hatfield were supporters of the United Miners Workers, and they supported the miners' civil right to have a home. On May 21st, 1920, private detectives arrived in Matewan from Bluefield. They had come to evict several families who had been fired for joining the union. They were accompanied by the Mingo County Sheriff and a deputy. As they finished their day's work, they was heading back to the station to catch a train back to Bluefield. Sid Hatfield and the sheriff both produced warrants for the other one's arrest. It turned out later that the sheriff's warrant was fraudulent, but that don't matter, because right then and there a gunfight started. Testerman died right there on the spot. As multiple detectives ran through town, they began to be fired at by coal miners. All in all, 7 detectives were killed and 1 was injured. Besides Testerman being killed, there was 2 unarmed bystanders that were also killed. One of them was a miner who had earlier that day been evicted from his house by the detectives. 4 unarmed bystanders were also wounded in the melee. The next year, private detectives assassinated Sid Hatfield on the steps of the McDowell County Courthouse. Company towns ran in McDowell County until at least 1986. Now, even with everything that we just talked about with the company stores and the company script payment, Jenkin Jones was known for its high quality of living and its high quality goods in its store. In 1916, Jenkin Jones died of tuberculosis. Eventually, the Pocahontas Fuel Company became the Consolidated Fuel Company. The mine in Jenkin Jones closed in 1989. As the war on coal has continued, McDowell County has seen a massive population decrease. The population peaked in 1950 at over 100,000 people in the county. As of 1910, there was less than 20,000 people left in the county. It is the poorest county in West Virginia, which is the second poorest state in the United States. All right, let's go check it out. I owe my soul to the company store. Oh, you load 16 tons? What do you get? Another day older and deeper in debt. St. Peter, don't you call, 'cause I can't go. I owe my soul to the company store. I was thinking this would have been, yep, see, that's where the staircase would have been to get up to the second floor. But, I mean, this just gutted and it's tore up as it's going to get. It's not really, much in here, not much to see. I don't know what this is out back. That's just another building. No, not much in here either. AC/DC. There's another AC/DC. So what we have here is like an elevator. You can see the steel tracks going down, and there's that platform down there, and we come up here, you can see, well, I guess that's not really mechanics, but you can see the windows coming down. We already went down that way. Let's see what's down here. Just look at all the, I don't know if it's stalactites or icicles or what, but the line in the ceiling. We just got a pool of sitting water here. Thanks for watching my video. If you liked it, please hit the like button. Please subscribe to my channel. You can find me on Facebook as Hood in the Woods, and you can find me on Instagram as Abandoned in Appalachia. Also, for more mountain music, please check out Clovis Draper and subscribe to his YouTube channel.
Way down in the hollers of West Virginia to Tennessee live the shiners and blue collars